you sound.
What's going on, fam? It's your boy Kwame here. I'm going to be showing you a few tips and tricks for arms, some of the things that we've tried in the past that have helped, some warm-ups, how to get big arms, how to lift heavy with arms. My boy Zach Smith is behind the camera. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more. Peace.
As you guys may or may not know, the tricep takes up 2/3, that's 2/3 of the arm. So when we're doing them, make sure we're trying to build as much mass as we can on the back of the arm and also with our biceps too. But when I'm training my triceps, I love to do dips. The reason why I like to do dips is because it works my lower outer part of my chest as well. Try and lean forward a little bit, really get a nice full stretch, and then come all the way up and really stretch out and get a maximum contraction of my tricep too. So that's definitely one of my favorite exercises for building bigger arms. And then we're going to move on to our biceps. When you're doing dips, you can either lean forward or you can have more of a rigid upright stance. When you lean forward a little bit, you can use more of your chest, and when you're more upright, you're going to be using more of your triceps. So for me, I like this one because it incorporates both a little bit of a chest movement, but also it's focusing on our triceps. Now, I wouldn't advise doing this if you have shoulder injuries or a chest injury. Obviously, it's a large range of motion, So if you're doing that one, make sure if you do have injuries or anything like that, you could even start by trying to do it on a bench with no weight and just get the form and the technique correct before you put your body weight on doing dips. And then we're going to move on to our biceps as well.
Alright guys, the first exercise I am going to be doing is the easy bar curl. My main focus is going to be on the negative or eccentric part of the movement. The negative part of the movement is where you usually grow. So what I want to do is I want to control this over a 5-second period. I've used this exercise for quite a long time and I've noticed quite a lot of progress. I'm going to just actually isolate the biceps because I want to just target our biceps. I don't want to be targeting anything else. What I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to bring my elbows in, lock them in, keep my chest up, make sure I brace my core, and I'm going to count down over 5 seconds down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now my concentric phase, the phase of coming up, I'm going to keep this normal one. So I'm just going to come up 1, really nice control still. You're not swinging or anything. Make sure your core is braced throughout this movement. I like to keep the weight relatively light to start with as well. I also like to focus a lot on my biceps. I work with a lot of mind-muscle connection. After you've got that mind-muscle connected, then you want to start with a progressive overload. You want to start increasing the weights nice and slowly. After you've got that connection happening, it's easy to progressively overload, and you actually notice that it might actually be easier than jumping straight to a heavier weight. Alright, Zach, so I see you've got like some chains here. I mean, that's not just bling bling, is it?
I got my chains, 2 chains.
You kind of remind me of like those rappers. So like what's the purpose of the chains? What are you using them for?
So obviously there's a couple of different tiers to challenge yourself with the dips. First off, just doing them on a bench with no weight. Second of all, using your body weight on here, doing your dips here. And then thirdly, you can progressively overload by adding some weight onto your body. You can do it with a weight vest as well, but right now we're going to use these chains, and that way you've got more weight added so that it's more difficult to complete your reps. A great way to make sure you're progressively overloading your body between going from your bench onto your free weight and then using the chains.
Usually when I train, I like to incorporate a progressive overload, and I'm doing this by actually just increasing the weight, but really gradually. So I started off with a warm-up, and once I get confident, I start to increase the weight slowly. I'm not jumping from like 5 kilos straight to like 100 kilos, you know. I'm doing it really slowly. So I've done a few sets, and now it's time for me to get onto some big weights. Again, I'm still gonna make sure I keep form and technique. I'm not gonna be able to talk during the workout because this is gonna be hard, and I really need to focus on my mind-muscle connection. So I keep my chest up, bring my elbows in, and control this 5 seconds down. That was challenging, you could probably see in my face, but I had to really focus to get these reps out. But I try to maintain good form again while I was doing it, keeping that control. Your weight is important, but your form is even more important. You want to also avoid injury at all costs.
What's up? Second exercise for me is another one for the triceps. We're going to be doing a skull crusher. I'm going to try not to knock my hat off my head because I've noticed a lot of the times I'll see people doing skull crushers and they're not bringing it to their skull. Part of the exercise, bring it to your skull. That's the right and correct technique. Bring it down, make sure our elbows are in, make sure we're engaging as much of the tricep as we can. I'm going to run you through how to do it. Start off with my hands quite wide while I'm setting it up. It's a little bit of a difficult one to get into the situation. So position, if you do have a spotting partner, then it's a little bit easier because they can just hand you the weight. But if you don't, like me right now, because Kwame's behind the camera, then we can just do it like this. Either like that when you start, or for myself, I just kick it down like this. Lay back down, while our hands are nice and wide, bring it up. And then in this position here, I bring my hands in nice and close. We want our hands at about shoulder width apart. And then when we bring the weight down, we're going to bring it to our skull, as it's called a skull crusher. Keep your elbows nice and tight. All the way down. When we push up, a nice full extension. Slow and controlled technique. You would have noticed I was going slow, taking it really nice and slow, and having our elbows in, nice full range of motion, and then bringing it back up. When we get to the top, really extend that big squeeze through our triceps. A great one to make sure you do with correct technique, and it's a staple exercise in my tricep routine or my arms routine. Try it at home.
Awesome. Just a quick question, Zach. So how many reps would you generally do?
For the majority of my career, I've been doing between 8 and 15 reps. I find that that's a good rep range to be doing between 65 and 80% of our mat to make sure we're getting some really hard, solid reps at the end of our set. When I was first starting out, I was doing more of a strength program and my reps would have been a little bit lower. But for me to maintain a well-rounded, quite full and lean physique all year round, I think using 8 to 15 repetitions is a perfect number for myself personally.
Alright, so what do we have next? We have a hammer curl, but there's a bit of a twist to this movement. The reason why I actually like the dumbbell hammer curl is because it's a really nice and simple movement. You know, I love the dumbbell hammer curl because it can help with thickness of the overall bicep as well. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on thickness and a bit of the peak work as well. So what we're going to be doing, I'm just going to show you this without the weight. We're going to be basically keeping our elbows tucked in. We're gonna come up all the way, and at the top of the movement, we're gonna rotate our wrist in and give it a bit of a squeeze. We're gonna squeeze for 3 seconds. This is called an isometric hold. We're gonna increase that tension at the peak of the movement. I love it. So, I got my weight. Remember, elbows tucked in first. Come up nice and controlled to start with. When I get to the top of the movement, squeeze for 1, 2, 3. Rotate that back down. Up. Again, up, squeeze, 1, 2, 3, rotate that down. One more, come up, 1, 2, 3, rotate that up.
So why do you rotate your wrist at the end of the rep?
I'm going to show you this even without speaking, okay? With the rotation of my wrist, you can see the peak of the muscle activate. There's peak contraction right at the top of the movement and also at the full rotation of your wrist. So one of the things I find is if I can actually put my body in a position where I can actually see and engage those muscles and feel those muscles, I actually get better results with my training and a better feel. So you should be able to feel this before you go ahead and even increase the weight. Now, another way I would actually challenge myself with this exercise is to slow down my concentric. So we talked about eccentrics before. Eccentrics are negative parts of the movement. So this is going to be the opposite side. This is the harder part of the movement. In other words, this is coming up with the movement. So I'm gonna put a 5-second timer, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on my way up. Still have my 3-second isometric hold at the peak of the movement, and then come down normally. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rotate. 1, 2, 3. Rotate it out. Come down normally. So we can get back into our peak concentric work. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm already shaking. Rotate. 1, 2, 3. Rotate out. Come down nice and controlled. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rotate. 1, 2, 3. And down. Oh man, I was already starting to feel it. This is not heavyweight, guys. This is only 7.5 kilos. So you can see how much you can actually challenge yourself without using heavyweights. Now, obviously, as I get more warmed up into this, I'll be able to challenge myself and, you know, increase the weights. But I'm only going to increase by like 2.5 kilos. So even if sometimes you can increase by 1 kilo, you know, for a beginner. These are some of the simple exercises, great for activation, but also, you know, you engage in all the muscles and you actually know that you're working the biceps, not your joints. And
so it's a good one for people at home that don't have too much weight. Maybe they have a home gym.
Exactly, guys. If you have a home gym as well, you know, you don't need like, you know, 500 kilos. I'm exaggerating a little bit there. But you can actually do this from home, you know. You can buy like the little 1 to 10 kilo dumbbell set and I guarantee you're going to get a pump. Like I've already got a pump here and I literally like have been using 7.5 kilos. So, you know, you don't need to be swinging around 20 kilos for this. That's for another time and a different workout.
Third one, we're going to be working on our biceps now. I know I've started off with 2 tricep exercise. I'm not going to say sorry for it. Very important to take up 2/3 of the arm. Now we're going to do our biceps. This one is great. I use this one in a superset most often, but you can do it by itself as well. It's going to be a neutral grip bicep curl. So it's basically a hammer curl, but we're going to be holding a plate. The reason why I do that, just to switch up your hand variations, switch up the things you're doing. Instead of just always curling dumbbells, curling barbells, try doing different things, different techniques, different hand grips. So a neutral grip right now, for myself, I find that I get a really, really good pump. A great one to finish off an arm workout, or to use as a superset. So like Kwame, try and hold for a couple of seconds at the top. Really activate as much muscle fibers as you can. So once again, you won't have to use too much weight. As Kwame was saying before, this one's a 20 kilo plate, but you could do this with 10, 5, whatever your strength level is. Make sure you're nice and slow, controlled technique. Have a nice metric hold at the top to really get as much blood as you can to the working muscles. I usually work between the rep range of 8 to 15 with this as well.
And do you know what I love about this exercise, Zach? Is the fact that you could basically be at home and find something that's similar to a plate and do this exercise with it.
Anything that's heavy, you can grip like this, mate. Absolutely. And look, if you don't have something that's heavy enough to lift with both hands, you could do something with one hand, something in the other hand of the same weight, and do it at the same time as a hammer curl. It doesn't really matter. Or you can do single hammer curls. Make sure you're switching up the hand grips when you're doing all your exercise. You can do this with all your muscle groups as well. It's like when you're doing legs, you have your feet standing in an outward stance, work more of the inside of the leg. The closer your feet are together, outside the leg. All these things you can use in your arsenal when you're building a body. So the takeaway from this, change your hand grips, try different variations of the same exercise.
Alright guys, our next exercise, our main focus is going to be bringing our elbows out and pushing out really, really nice and slow. I'm going to be using this bench here, but I'm also going to be incorporating an element of hypertrophy using supersets. I'm sure most of you would have heard of supersets. It's basically working from one exercise to another without any rest in between. What I'm going to do with this exercise is also use 2 different exercises. Different parts of the triceps are going to be worked here as well, but it's also going to challenge the muscle groups in different ways. In this exercise, I'm going to actually start off with a press. I'm going to bring my elbows in. First thing I want to do while I'm getting to this movement is put the weights together, tuck my elbows in, bring it up. Just makes it easier for me to bring it in. Now once I'm in position at the bottom of the movement, I'm going to tuck my elbows out. And I'm going to come up over 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Drop. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Afterwards, I'm going to go straight into the superset. Come down nice and low. But make sure these are close again to each other. Tuck my elbows in for this. Really nice and controlled. All the way down and up. And this time I'm just doing controlled grips continuously. Felt that burn. So, a little bit of blood in my triceps, so I got no horseshoe triceps like Zach Smith, but working on it, But yeah, guys, I love this exercise. Go really focus on your forming technique, especially when you bring your elbows up. Just be really careful as well. If you have any injuries, I'll avoid it. If you have that mobility for it, then take it on. Well, I think we got a bit of a pump from that. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me and my boy Zach. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, a bit of this, a bit of that. I'll put our links up here, so make sure you check us out. Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button. Thank you so much for all your help. Leave some comments below, guys. We want to know more. What do you guys want to see? I want literally just post them in the comments. We'll be making videos for you at the end of the day. Yeah, and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more. We're out. Peace.